was received, but I've received an SMS reply that says, I'm ready to serve you. Now I know that I have remote control over this Android device. So I can send any number of other commands. I can send a command, for example, SMS spy enable. And then any incoming SMS message on this device will be intercepted and recorded. I could send call spy enable. Any incoming telephone call now to this device will be recorded and intercepted, so I can listen in on people's telephone calls. I could send another command, for example, to enable the microphone. So now, right now, even though there's, again, no notification that anything has been received, the microphone on this device is now switched on and it's recording our conversation. You can imagine how useful that would be if you were trying to spy on a competitor company for industrial espionage, listen into a board meeting, that kind of thing. But of course, all of that stolen information is still actually on this device. And you can see I don't have anything here, I've just been sending commands. So the question has to be, how do I get the information now off this device if I want to have access to that? And it's actually very simple, because these things, smartphones, are just small PCs at the end of the day. But the great advantage is they're always switched on and they're always connected, by definition. So if I decide I now have enough information, I want to get hold of that now, then I can just send another command to this device. I can send a command that says upload files, and then when that command is received here, again, no notification, no messages received, no indication that anything bad is happening, but this device is now taking that stolen information, zipping it up into a compressed file, and uploading it to a web server, and then it sends me back a text message with a URL where I can just go and download all that stolen information.
Well, that's really dangerous.
It's dangerous, and it's very simple. The big problem is that individuals are not paying enough attention to the permissions that apps are requesting when you install them.
As for me, I usually use this mobile device to enter into the online bank. Yeah, so this is really unsafe, right?
Now, I understand that in Taiwan, the usual way to secure online banking is that when you make a transaction, you get a code sent by SMS to your mobile device, which you then have to enter into online banking, and the transaction will happen.
Maybe they can record what I type.
There is malware, mobile banking malware, which is designed to intercept those SMSs and transmit the authentication code to the criminal so that they can still carry on making transactions. The major problem is that banks are securing the wrong thing. So at the moment, the majority of banks are authenticating the user. The user is proving that they are who they say they are, and that's the only thing that they're proving. So you type in your name and your password, you demonstrate that that's you. And then when you get the code on your mobile device, you demonstrate that you have your mobile device as well, which is another way of proving that that's you. That's fine, and it's an important part of the process. Banks should be authenticating the user, but the other thing which banks should be doing, and most of them are not, is authenticating the transaction. So there should be a code which you have to enter, which has some kind of logical relationship with the amount of the transaction as well. Because if you imagine what criminals are doing, the malware on your PC is actually sitting inside your web browser. So it's directly in between you and the bank. Anything you type into your browser, so I tell the browser, transfer £100 to my mum. But the criminal in the browser can modify that and say, no, actually, transfer £1,000 to my friend, and begin to steal your money. Now, if you're not authenticating and verifying the details of the transaction, it doesn't matter if you're doing it in a secure tunnel where the user is authenticated or not, because the criminal can still modify all of those transactions.
And how can we avoid this crisis?
So when your PC notifies you that there's an upgrade available, or an update, a security patch, install it, click OK. Don't just drag the window off to the side so you can ignore it, or postpone or cancel.
Don't talk about me.
I'm talking about a lot of people, not just you. Something that you can do on mobile devices is make sure that you stick to official app distribution channels. Only download apps from trustworthy sources. Make sure that you look at the permissions that every app is asking for when you install it. And if you're installing a game and it says it wants the ability to read text messages, that should ring some alarm bells, and you should say, maybe I don't want to install that game because there's no reason why it needs to read text messages. So read the permissions that the app is asking for and act appropriately, make the right decision. And also check the publisher. One of the most common ways for criminals to distribute malware right now is to take a popular app, whether it's a game or a utility, insert some malicious content and then republish it under another name. So for example, if you want to install Angry Birds, make sure that it's published by Rovio, not by Rick Ferguson, because that won't be the real Angry Birds. So check the publisher, check the permissions, and make sure you keep your systems up to date. When it comes to enterprises, the key thing, you have to change your mindset. So an enterprise has to believe that breach will happen. Their network will be compromised, and they should design security and systems so that they can be notified of that as early as possible and take action to remedy and contain it.
Thanks, Rick. 人类的生活因为行动装置的崛起而越来越方便，不过其中的安全漏洞却让这些行动装置意外成为骇客新的温床。如何能够确保资讯安全，也成为使用这些新的装置现在最需要考量的问题。